This is the Volvo Ocean Race, the story of a 45-year obsession. Sailing's iconic race around the world, the ultimate test of a team, and the place where elite sport meets human adventure. Achieving victory will mean dominating a 45,000 nautical mile race over 11 legs, taking in 12 host cities across 6 continents. 7 international teams are vying to add their name to the Volvo Ocean Race trophy. The results of Leg 9 proved to be pivotal for some of the teams as the race heads towards the finale. Dongfeng Race Team now lead overall, just 1 point clear of MAPFRE, who had slipped back into second after a disappointing transatlantic performance. And after Team Brunel's double points win into Cardiff, they were now a serious contender for an overall race win. With the race drawing to a close, the final 2 legs would be the most important and the most intense.
They're all on port with zeros.
Been trying everything we possibly can on board to make the boat go faster.
We've chosen a path inshore. It's going to be an interesting night.
It's not always going according to plan, so throw the dice.
We've got no idea how it's going to pay out.
After nearly 8 months of racing and more than 40,000 miles, just 3 points separated the top 3 teams.
We are back on the lead, and I think we have shown everybody that Dongfeng Race Team is still there, very strong. I think this is a message I give to my team. It's now you have 8 days to make the best result of your life, realize your dream, and you have to be 100%. If you want to beat us, you will have to fight.
We do need to beat Dongfeng in this one for sure, and then the things are going to be even again. 3 of us are now fighting all the way to the end for this Volvo.
We're the guys who've got nothing to lose. We're the comeback kids in that sense. I think we're on a roll and we're confident. We're feeling all good and we actually think we can win this thing.
They all knew that a good result in this leg would be essential for their bid to be victorious. The 7 teams docked out of Cardiff Bay under sunny blue skies, but the lack of wind made for a painful start as the fleet drifted in slow motion.
Here we go, all 7 boats, the penultimate leg start, a sprint to Gothenburg, every point counts, all clear.
Hold your course, mate! Get on!
I think we are around 2 off, we're not that far.
Leg 10 is a 1,300-mile sprint past the southwest coast of Ireland and over the top of Scotland. Once in the North Sea, the fleet will head south past the southern tip of Norway before heading to the finish line in Gothenburg. Within 10 hours of the start, Sunhunkai Scallywag were in trouble.
1, 2, 3. We've just dropped the anchor because we've ran out of breeze and the tide's turned against us, so set up camp for the night. Fingers crossed the other boats in front of us have had something similar, at least not as much breeze as they had before. You're definitely not going anywhere.
By the time David Witt and his team had got back up to speed, they were 100 miles behind the rest of the teams. Once past the infamous Fastnet Rock, the fleet started to weave their way up the rugged southwest tip of Ireland before they headed offshore. But out in the Atlantic Ocean was a major obstacle, a high-pressure ridge. MAPFRE led.
Now we're waiting for the wind from the southwest, so we can go downwind towards Scotland. But it's probably the race or the lake is going to be decided here. Maybe the race and the lake, we will see.
We're trying to position ourselves that we are the most western boat, so that we can cross it first and of course pick up the breeze. Axel Nobel and MAPFRE, they look like they have quite a nice lead, but we hope that our strategy will pay off. But it's not always going according to plan, so throw the dice. Yeah.
All the boats would have to cross the virtually windless void before they could access the breeze that would be their express highway to Gothenburg. With the high pressure came another compression of the entire fleet. At times, just 7 nautical miles separated.
Hopefully the ridge is going to pass over us rather than us cross it. So we're trying, but we're not going anywhere very quickly at the moment. 1.7 knots.
Sadly, Scallywag is zooming up behind us, but they're still behind us. We have this light airs as we cross this ridge for another few hours. And then this evening, it's going to be a whole new world. We're going to be sending it in proper breeze, and the race to Sweden will be on.
For nearly 10 hours, all the teams struggled with the tortuous conditions. There were winners and losers when the fleet finally picked up the strong southwesterly breeze they'd searched for. Team Brunel's gamble had not paid off. They were last.
Kind of tried first and then went light. Probably lost 5 miles or something on everyone. Right now there's not much you can do. We've kind of tried to cut the loss as much as we can by just driving back down to their line. But yeah, just got to keep trying to make the boat go fast. That's all you can do, really.
MAPFRE continued their lead and began rocketing northeast towards the tip of Scotland. Dongfeng Race Team and Turn the Tide on Plastic in second and third, respectively.
We managed to pass the ridge in first position and started stretching a little bit. You know, we have Dongfeng pretty close. Brunel being a little bit farther back is, of course, good for us. It's got some boats in between right now. I'm sure they're going to be fighting all the way to the end as well. So we have to keep focused and try to win this leg.
By now, the crews were dealing with gale force winds as they started to head east across the North Sea. It was relentless with no respite.
We've got fresh to frightening conditions here. It's pretty heinous. Yeah, everyone's kind of pushing hard but making small gains towards the lead. But yeah, I'm pretty ready for this to die off a little bit and get to some more normal conditions.
We go about 35, sometimes 36 knots, sailing on about 80 true, so it's not the comfiest wave angle when we're downstairs, and pretty heinous for the guys on deck. Really, it's up to us to find a little bit of extra pace. I'd much rather be involved in the fight for the podium. Although, yeah, I guess it's nice not to have the stress.
And Simon Fisher was right. At the front of the pack, they had unwanted company.
Not the best night we had on Dongfeng. We were behind MAPFRE and Brunel passed us, Turn the Tide, and Action Nobel. We are now back ahead of Turn the Tide, but still a lot of work to come back on Brunel and MAPFRE.
In just 24 hours, Team Brunel had made an incredible comeback. They had fought day and night and were now closing in on MAPFRE. The Spanish team couldn't match their pace.
I guess they're just simply faster. We've been trying everything we possibly can on board to make the boat go faster, and got everyone on deck.
MAPFRE's crew knew the significance of the moment.
They've actually overtaken us now, which is a shame, but we're right on their tail and trying to keep up.
It's going to be a few sail changes between now and the finish, so there's still plenty of opportunities for people to get past us or to be overtaken.
So yeah, one big push till the finish, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to make Bo happy and win his first Volvo.
With less than 200 miles to the finish, Becking and his team continued to extend their lead little by little. They had pulled off the perfect move, but MAPFRE was still breathing down their neck.
We're just giving everything we got right now to try and pass these guys. If we don't, then it's going to be a tie, between us and them. If we finish like this, then it's going to be a heck of a last leg. So now we're going to push on and try and win this one.
Somebody run for J2, sheet run. Rolling J2.
MAPFRE did everything in their power to try and catch Team Brunel, but they just couldn't find the extra speed. The Dutch team took the win, and most importantly, would see them in a winner-takes-all against MAPFRE and Dongfeng Race Team in the final leg.
It's just fantastic for the race, and I think just in general, I think it's good for sailing that we have an exciting finish where 3 boats can actually win, and I've got a good feeling. My wife has a good feeling, that's always really important as well. So now we've got everything to lose, let's say it that way.
With so much at stake, less than 2 minutes later, the Spanish team crossed the line after 1,300 miles of racing.
That's right, guys. Right now we are technically 3 of us in the same points, and whoever wins is going to win the race. So it's all on for the last leg, a lot of homework to do, and a little bit of rest as well, because it's been a very, very hard leg. But, very happy with the result, and hopefully next one is better.
Dongfeng Race Team did make up some lost ground, but were now back in 4th spot, unable to overtake Simeon Team Point's Team Axel Nobel, who took 3rd and another podium win.
it's fantastic racing, and yeah, and then I think you have to be happy with the podium. And Brunel did a good job and coming back and putting a little bit of distance together with MAPFRE, and those guys, they showed the better of us, and yeah, congratulations to them.
We sail well, but not enough to win a leg, so maybe we don't take enough risk also, I don't know. But we need to take on the next one, because I think on the next one we have no choice. We have to be ahead of the both Brunel and MAPFRE.
Team Brunel's leg win now put them on equal points with MAPFRE. Dongfeng Race Team were also effectively tied on points, as they held an additional bonus point for the shortest elapsed time for the entire race. It had come down to the wire after nearly 45,000 miles of intense racing. Who beat who to the finish in The Hague would decide who would win the 2017-18 Volvo Ocean Race. The winner of the Volvo Ocean Race would be decided on the final leg from Gothenburg to The Hague in the Netherlands. The 970-mile sprint would be the closest finale in the history of the race. Just one of three boats could win. MAPFRE, Team Brunel and Dongfeng Race Team were head-to-head.
We are in an amazing situation now. 3 boats, equal points, 1 leg to go. Whoever wins, wins. And the order we will finish is going to be the order of the overall. Of course, it's a big moment. Not only for me, I think this is the 5th time we go as a team in the Volvo Ocean Race, and this time, you know, I can see it's very big for a lot of people.
Only one team can win, and I think we have a real good chance of pulling it off. How will this leg be? We know the victory is not important, we just have to keep the 2 red boats behind us, and that means if we're becoming 5th and they're becoming 6th and 7th, then it's done and dusted.
We have to give everything, and that's what we are going to do all together, because we all know that maybe this is the only opportunity in our life we have to win the Volvo. And for sure, at the end of the race in La Hague, there will be a fantastic winner, but you know, we only remember the first boat. Second and third, nobody remembers.
The pressure had been building for 9 months. This was it. The 7 teams left the dock for the last time. It would be a short leg, but promised to be an epic battle.
After 45,000 miles of racing, 3 teams have one final leg to go to decide who will be crowned the winner. There goes the gun.
Aiming at MAPFRE.
But down at the pin end, MAPFRE got pushed out by Team Brunel. They didn't lay the pin end of the line and they had to come back. So drama already right at the start.
You're racing full speed, guys. Stand by. Right on. 45. Doesn't have room there. He went in there. Hold mate.
Legends will be made in this one last dramatic sprint. It's all on the line.
The fleet would head up to a rounding mark off the coast of Norway, down towards Denmark and into the harbour of Aarhus. It's then back up for the 2nd time to a virtual rounding mark before heading to the finish line in The Hague. Despite MAPFRE's poor start, within 12 hours the Spanish team were virtually neck and neck with Dongfeng Race Team off the Norwegian coast.
We just passed the waypoint from Norway, now going downwind to Aarhus. So we were second there, like half a mile behind Dongfeng, and Brunel is a couple of boats behind.
As the fleet approached Denmark, there was a compression. The offshore battle soon looked like an inshore match race. The leaders within minutes of each other as they rounded the mark deep inside the harbour of Aarhus.
I'm so close to home.
I know.
Team Vestas 11th Hour Racing treated their home fans to a flyby with local hero Jenna May Hansen in the spotlight. Nikolai Sjested steered Team Axel Nobel through his home port, watched by thousands. But for all the teams, it was a fleeting visit. They pushed north again back to Norway to a virtual waymark. For nearly 150 miles, the 2 red boats swapped first for 2nd place, the pressure intensifying by the mile.
We've got MAPFRE to leeward of us. Had a little bit of a battle with them in the transition zone, flapping around in no wind. And that also gave the opportunity for the back of the fleet to catch up a little bit.
It was now a last push southwest to the finish line, 350 miles away, and Dongfeng Race Team's nemesis MAPFRE had taken the lead again. With a number of race exclusion zones between the fleet and The Hague, the teams would need to pass them on one side or the other. The most important navigational decision of the entire race was about to be made.
There's always opportunities, and just have to keep chipping away. Big call will be having an easterly course or go to the other side.
Once chosen, it was a 100% commitment for the rest of the leg. The stakes couldn't be higher. Dongfeng Race Team, now on the back foot, made a bold move.
We've chosen a path inshore, so it's a lot of very tricky navigation. We've got all sorts of sandbanks and traffic separation schemes, and some very changeable weather. It's going to be an interesting night.
It was a longer route, but with potentially favourable wind. Turn the Tide on Plastic and the Scallywags followed. The rest of the fleet, including MAPFRE and Team Brunel, stayed west and offshore.
We were lining up to go on the inside, sort of down to Germany and across the beaches across the top of Holland. We made a late call to go to the west. As a result, we lost quite a lot on Brunel and Axenoba, who had decided to go this way earlier. And in doing so, we split from Dongfeng, who were carrying on down. So it's a tricky one, but you know, at the end of the day, for us, we had to do what we think's right to get us there. We feel this way's fastest.
Overnight, the two groups headed towards the finish. Dongfeng Race Team at one point had dropped back significantly from the leaders, but gradually seemed to make gains.
That is a bit crazy. We are sailing than 9 months, racing than 9 months. And it's only the 40 last miles of the last leg is going to decide who is going to win the Volvo Ocean Race.
As all the fleet got their last position report of the leg, MAPFRE led. Team Axenoba and Team Brunel were chasing hard within half a nautical mile, but Dongfeng Race Team were further behind, out of sight, and skirting the coastline.
We're behind MAPFRE, we're about half a mile behind, we've got about 20 miles to go to the finish. So it's a less than ideal situation, and we'll just be looking for any opportunity we can to split and get in front of these guys. But it's going to be tough. We're in a difficult position, that's for sure.
The two groups, who had split more than 300 miles earlier, were converging at the rounding mark, just before the finish line. There was nothing in it. The tension unbearable for the crews.
We can sort of see something through the binoculars, but we're not entirely sure, and we've got no idea how it's going to pay out, so we're just trying to sail as fast as we can right now. Hopefully it's good enough. Who knows? It's nuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's them, 100%. Crosswind 350.
We just saw Dongfeng in our bow. Doesn't really looking great for us, but see what happens.
Dongfeng bearing 76 in front. Dongfeng in front? Yep. Everyone? Everyone. Didn't go right.
Both MAPFRE and Team Brunel could only watch on helplessly as the Chinese team powered to the finish line. They had resigned themselves to defeat.
Looks like Dongfeng got it. They're bearing 76, so they should be across of us and probably across MAPFRE as well.
Dongfeng Race Team had won in the closest finish in the history of the race, and incredibly, it was their only leg win. The victory also marked a pivotal moment in the Volvo Ocean Race. Caroline Brouwer, Marie Roux and Justine Matru became the first women to ever win the race. It was a watershed moment for skipper Charles Caudrelier. The dream to become the first Chinese campaign to take home the coveted trophy had come true.
In the last 9 months, never win a leg, always in good position at the start and fail. And as a skipper, it was really tough. I'm not sure I've been the best skipper, but I'm sure I've done the best team around me. I had a good feeling. I said, it's not possible, we can't lose. And we win.
MAPFRE, headed up by Xabi Fernandez, had battled at the top with Dongfeng Race Team for 11 legs. Fernandez and his team had come so close to becoming the first Spanish team to win the race, but they would have to settle for second place overall, having crossed the line in third.
Tough leg for us, of course. I think we sailed very well all the way, and yesterday we changed the strategy and obviously it didn't work for us, but I think we sailed very well the whole way around the wall and this leg as well, and of course highly disappointed right now, but tomorrow will be better.
In his 8th attempt to win, Bowie Becking and Team Brunel had made an incredible comeback to put themselves in a winning position going into the final leg. A win was within touching distance, but Becking was unable to clinch victory.
Yes, I think first of all, congratulations to Dongfeng. They won, deserved winners, and of course MAPFRE beat us as well. So third place, still podium. I think we can be very proud as a team.
Team AkzoNobel, headed up by Simeon Teampoint, ended their campaign with a second place into The Hague and a respectable 4th overall. They had also earned their place in the history books.
I'm unbelievable proud. The fastest Volvo boat in the world, and I think six podiums now. So yeah, it's incredible.
5th across the line was Turn the Tide on plastic. They had not only held off Sun Hunkai Scallywag, but had beaten Vestas 11th Hour Racing. D. Kafari's team were tied on equal points with the Scallywags, but a 4th place result in the final import race saw them win the tiebreak and finish 6th overall. Sun Hunkai Scallywag, led by David Witt, finished into The Hague in 6th spot, but ended their campaign in 7th. Vestas 11th Hour Racing were last in this final leg, but they managed 5th place overall. A respectable result considering they had not scored any points on 4 of the 11 legs. The 2017-18 edition of the Volvo Ocean Race had come to an end, and the final results etched into the history books. The 13th edition had been unprecedented. It had seen relentless and grueling conditions and will be remembered for some of the closest racing that has ever been seen, from match racing through the Southern Ocean to the nail-biting finish in The Hague. The glory of winning was the goal for all the teams. To be victorious, a moment that will be eternal in the minds of the winning sailors.
We are so proud to win this race because that's probably been one of the biggest fights of the Volvo Ocean Race forever. This has been a big emotion to carry this trophy. I have this picture of all the winners carrying this trophy. I was thinking, I wish one day I could do it. And then Dongfeng Race Team arrived in my life. And 5 years after, I do it. Just great.